There's a version of success that makes total and complete sense to chase. So the car, the business, the lifestyle, and of course the financial freedom. But successful and fruitful are not the same thing, and it's worth asking, which one are you actually building toward? Hi, I'm Felicia, and on my channel, I document what it looks like to surrender an ambitious life to God and let Him lead it. Today, I want to talk about fruit, and specifically what the Bible describes as fruit and what it actually requires to produce it. As an ambitious person, and especially as an entrepreneur, it can be really easy you build something, you watch it work, you see the money come in, and then the lifestyle follows, and you start to see all of that as evidence that you're producing, that you're doing something right. And there's nothing wrong, of course, with having any of those things. The Bible doesn't say that success is bad. You know, Abraham was rich, Job had a lot. So it's not necessarily about the things themselves. But I think where a lot of us get confused is we start to equate success with fruitfulness. Like if someone has a lot, if they have a nice lifestyle, a thriving business, then we assume that their life is fruitful. And I was actually having a conversation the other day with a friend, and we were talking about how you'll see someone on social media, you know, they have their G-Wagon, they're living this really expensive lifestyle, and people are just immediately drawn to them. They, even in some cases, trust them more because of it, depending on, you know, the type of content that they create. And people like that, even in person, like people want to be around them. They want to be in their circle. And I get it. I understand why that happens. But that's where we kind of get a little bit, again, confused about what real fruit is, because success isn't just based, of course, off of the material things or even the accolades that you have. And success alone doesn't tell you anything about what is actually growing on the inside of that person. So then, okay, what does the Bible actually say that fruit is? Because I think once you see it clearly, it changes a lot just about how you evaluate even your own life. So my husband and I have been going through a discipleship book called Master Life together. And there's a scripture in there for the week that we were going over that has really stuck with me. And it's John 15:5, when Jesus was saying, "I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing." And the last part is what really stuck with me the most, you know, especially as someone who is wired to just figure things out on my own and to problem solve and to strategize my way through everything and try to make things happen. You know, for him to say, "Without me, you can do nothing." Not without me, it'll be harder. Not without me, you'll just miss out on a few things here and there, but nothing. And I think that is really humbling, you know, really humbling to sit with, especially when you're someone who has been able to build things and achieve a lot, and you're able to just make things happen when you need to, because it raises the question, you know, okay, was any of that actually real fruit? Real fruit as it is described in the Bible, or was I just doing all of that in my own strength? Because the thing about fruit is that you can only produce it if you are connected to the source. And a lot of us are building without that connection, and then we wonder why things feel off, or we wonder why we're still left unfulfilled after all of that. And so the Bible describes fruit in Galatians as the fruits of the Spirit, which are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And then there's also the fruit of discipling others, of pointing people towards God, and just the way your life impacts the people that are around you. Like, think about the people in your life who you would say are genuinely fruitful. I would be willing to bet that it is not necessarily the most successful people. It's probably the ones who make you feel seen when you talk to them, or the ones who show up with patience, you know, even when they have every reason not to, or the ones who you can just tell that their spirit is right. Like that is fruit. And that comes from staying connected to God and not from anything that you can just build on your own and build in your own strength. And honestly, this is something that I think about a lot, especially as it relates to my content, because I've never wanted to be the person who leads with, look at what I have, or come follow me because of my lifestyle or because of what I've achieved. And that just never really felt right to me, because I want people to come because something that I said actually helped them, or because they felt like God spoke through me and used something that I shared to be able to meet them where they are. Like that's the fruit that I actually want to be able to produce. And that requires a level of honesty about where you actually are. Like if you stripped away everything, if you took away your accomplishments, your income, the material things that you have, what would be left? And that's something that I've just really been sitting with lately, and I wanted to share. And of course, not in a way to make us feel bad or not proud of our accomplishments, but just as a real honest check-in. And I especially have to do that with myself often because I'm in a lot of different business groups or masterminds and around other 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs. People have the nice cars, they have the impressive credentials, they have the success. And it's really easy to just walk into those rooms and to start measuring yourself against everyone else by those standards without realizing that you're doing it and just assuming that they must be doing something right. They're fruitful and I want to be similar. I want to get to know these people. But if I'm being honest with myself, the people that I really want to model myself after and get inspiration from are the ones whose spirits are right, and the people who lead with patience and kindness and just genuine care for other people. The people whose presence just makes you feel something and makes you feel good. And that has nothing to do with what they drive or how much money their business generates. So when I would ask myself, what is left after I strip away the business and the success and everything else, I wanted to be that I cared for other people and loved other people, and that I pointed people towards God, and that I shared the gospel with other people, because that is what actually lasts. And none of that happens by accident. It requires staying connected to the vine, staying connected to Jesus Christ consistently, intentionally, every single day. And that's what John 15 is all about. The branch does not just occasionally check in with the vine and expect there to be fruit there. It stays connected all of the time. And for someone like me, who again is just naturally wired to want to just problem solve and strategize my way through everything, it has to be this daily intentional practice of surrender. And it means going to God before I build things. It means asking not just, is this working or are the numbers adding up, but is this actually fruitful? Is this fruitful based off of the standards that the Bible tells us? And it means just caring more about who I'm becoming than what I'm accumulating. And if I'm in God's will for my life and his purpose for my life. So if I hold my life up against the fruits of the Spirit, I want to be able to see, where do I stand? Am I growing in patience? Am I growing in kindness, in peace? Those are the important questions. And I think that's what really matters the most. So that is just where I'm at. And I just want to make sure that I'm never just in one place for too long when it comes to my spiritual walk. I want to make sure that I'm always growing and that I'm just always developing. So if you've been working hard and building towards something, then I'm not here to tell you to stop, but I just want to encourage you to just pause and ask yourself, which one are you actually chasing? Is it success or is it fruitfulness? Because you can have both, but only one of them requires staying connected to God to be able to produce it. So let me know what is one of the fruits of the Spirit that you are actively trying to grow in right now. I would definitely say that mine is patience. And again, I just try to constantly see where I'm at and what I need to work on. But that is all for today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to go deeper on similar topics related to faith and just what it looks like to walk with God in your everyday life, I have a playlist called Heart to Heart that I will link in the description. And if you're not subscribed yet, I would love for you to walk with me on this journey. I post new videos every week, so I want to invite you to subscribe if this feels aligned with you. And as always, thank you so much for spending your time here with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.